Welcome back for another cozy little heart-to-heart. Today we are going to be talking about living at home with your parents as an adult, because I, as someone who has never planned this for myself, I find myself at the ripe age of 28 deciding that I actually want to live at home. I know for so many of us, living at home is not an option, but a necessity. And for others who want to live at home but can't, I'm really grateful that this is a choice for me. It's such a privilege, especially in a Western culture that tend to frown upon or see people who do live at home as a failure. And I hope by sharing my experience, we can start to shift that mindset, even if it's just by a little bit. So I actually wrote a little note about what I want to talk to you guys about today and how living at home makes me feel. To me, living at home feels grounding, supportive. It feels like healing generational trauma. It feels like an act of love, not obligation. It feels communal, sharing chores, cooking, celebration, and it feels intergenerational. But yeah, when I first graduated school, I was so excited to get the heck on out. I moved to Montreal for a year, and as the world opened up post-Panini, I decided that I really wanted to travel. I wanted to experience living in other cities. So I was very nomadic for the past few years, I would say. And I always kind of resented the place where I've grown up since I was 10. It's very suburban. And even the city Toronto is one that I feel very familiar with. It doesn't have that shiny new object. But I found myself every time when I would come home from my travels, I felt a greater sense of appreciation and gratitude for my home. Not just for the city of Toronto, but even for this suburb.
对，我很期待回到家。
I am so grateful that we get to live in a house that has a backyard where we can grow vegetables. When I actually looked at one of my drawings when I was a little kid, because we immigrated to Canada when I was pretty young from China, and we've always lived in like apartments, and everyone around me lived in houses. And I always just felt like, wow, I want to live in a house so bad. I want a backyard so bad. And I think I forgot that dream of my younger self. Actually staying in New York with my boyfriend made me realize how much I love and appreciate having access to a backyard, having access to green space to look outside and see trees.
The backyard veggies are veggieing. The kale is kaling.
What is that? Garlic? To be fairly close to nature. Also seeing my grandma grow older. She is turning 87 this year, and I've really witnessed her health decline over the past 2 years. It's been really hard. There's a part of me that feels so uncomfortable, and I can turn that pain into a level of avoidance, into not wanting to be there and witness this. I want to say degeneration, but it's kind of a harsh word, but it is actually just a normal part of human life. Like, we all grow old one day. I see her walking slower, her eyesight is getting worse, and just her memory recently has also been getting not so great. She's actually really introverted, Leo. So she doesn't really like talk to a lot of people, and she mostly just stays in her room and listens to audiobooks. Like, I'm not kidding. She was listening to Anna Karenina. Like, she's listened to some pretty spicy stuff, okay? And in Chinese. I realized that I really want to be here for her in her, I don't want to say like last years of life because it's not very optimistic, but like in this chapter of her life. I just don't know how much longer I have with my grandparents or with my grandma. Actually, she is my last grandparent. And I don't have that same feeling when it comes to my mom, for example, even though I should. Like, I know that I should, and I think I am starting to, even just being here for my grandma.
采访一下，感觉怎么样？
感觉你很可爱。
哦，那么会说话。
哎呦，本来就是嘛。
哎呀，那么甜。
And I'm realizing there is so much beauty in living intergenerationally. It actually really helps me feel calm and grounded in the world. Like when I'm in New York, I can feel like everything is going like bop, 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 really centered around career and doing stuff, and things are really fast. Whereas being here in the suburbs, time literally feels like it slows down. I feel like I have an extra breath to breathe. I love New York though. Don't get me wrong. I love it. Something about just like sitting at the table, eating a meal with my mom, with my grandma, like having this 3 generations in the house is so powerful to me. Seeing that my life and the stage of life where I'm at and how I live is not everything. Like when we're in a city that's very young, very bustling, and just hanging around people our age, it almost feels like our worries and what we deal with is very large. Not to downplay what anyone's going through, like it is really hard, but I personally find that when I'm here, I see what my mom is doing, the work that she puts in her nonprofit. I see my grandma doing her 2 walks a day and chilling in her room. I just see a different pace of life that's happening, and I'm a part of it, and I get to be within this woven tapestry of different lifestyles happening within this one roof. I'm also very lucky that my cousin lives really close. Her family immigrated to Canada when I was in high school, and now she lives with her husband, and they have a little boy who's 4 this year now. Oh my gosh. And she's pregnant, about to have her second child, I think in December this year. And what a joy it is to witness him as well, to see not just what it's like to be grandmother or in my mother's generation, but then to see like a fresh new human being. I feel like he really added so much joy and aliveness into our family dynamic. And on top of that, my boyfriend's parents also live in the city beside us. They're literally a 20-minute drive away. I'm gonna go see them this weekend, and I don't really get to see their kids very often because obviously my boyfriend is in Toronto, and they make me such yummy vegan Middle Eastern food. They're Syrian. I get to learn Arabic with them. It's just so colorful. I think all of these generations of people add so much color and depth into my life that feels very different from living in New York City with a bunch of other creators or young people who are like figuring things out and hustling. And you know, I need those people too. Like I literally go to Vancouver. I literally go to Toronto probably every single weekend, or at least maybe once a week, to balance out my sanity, because yeah, I need to see a young person. Okay, I need to see a young person. And I have a lot of creative friends there.
Should we go ask him to slackline?
Oh!
Imagine the rope not there. He's just like exorcisming.
Stop.
And throughout the week, I'll just like call a friend. I just called a friend in Vancouver, and I get to, you know, catch up with people on the phone. So underrated, calling your friends spontaneously or just texting them, being like, hey, want to call and chat. I think it actually really fits into the balance of what I need in my life, which is the fact that I realized, an extroverted hermit. Like I love meeting people, I love seeing my friends, I love hanging out, but I'm actually a hermit at heart. Like I need so much alone time. I'm raised an only child with a single working mom, so you know I spent a lot of time alone ever since I was like straight up a toddler. I could be crafting for hours unattended. And I think I still need that. I need that for my creative juices. But I also need communal living. Like I need community in a very chill aspect. Like in my final year of university, I lived in a student co-op. It was a vegan co-op called Toad Lane. You can apply to it from the Toronto Housing Co-op if you're in a secondary education institution. Yeah, I really loved living there because I feel like all of us are kind of hermits, but we would do a communal dinner and brunch on Sundays, and then a dinner Monday to Thursday night. We would all take turns cooking for each other. So it was kind of like the perfect balance of having a lot of alone time to work on my own projects, but at the end of the day, having like that human interaction that I need, and a low-key one, not like, oh, we're all going out to the club. Not that I go out to the club ever, but you know what I mean. So I like that it's kind of like built into my day when I'm living with my family. Of course, I want to say that it's not always been smooth sailing, y'all, okay? Literally the reason, oh well, not the reason, but one of the reasons I moved to Montreal at the time when I graduated was it was really hard because I didn't want to go the traditional degree route, or like I knew I didn't want to work in a studio, I didn't want to do UX. And yeah, it was really hard in terms of matching perspectives with my mom. I feel like she did not really get that, and for her, she felt like getting a stable 9 to 5 is like the route to a peaceful life, and like so fair if it is for you, but I knew so deep in my heart it was not. And every time I would go visit her, I would literally cry and bawl my eyes out because we would have a fight about it. So in certain circumstances, I think distance has really been healthy. Distance has made the heart grow fonder. And I feel like every time I come home, I have a better sense of patience and ability to understand that my parents are also just humans too, because we definitely grow up wanting our parents to be perfect, or maybe like, oh, you know, I messed up because my parents did this. They traumatized me like this. And that's fair. They probably did, but we have to recognize that they're also humans, and we've probably also traumatized other people. Or if we had kids, we definitely would too. Not to say you shouldn't have kids because of that. I mean, you could date someone and traumatize them. Okay, not to normalize traumatizing other people, but the point I'm trying to say is that like we're all humans, and I think as I've worked on repairing my relationship with myself and my own level of self-compassion and understanding, I feel like I'm better at being an adult at home. Because definitely I feel like a lot of us say this, we're like, oh, whenever I go home, I default to my child self. You're like kicking and screaming, you're fighting with your parents. Like we have not evolved, but like when we're in the outside world living on our own and whatever, we're like normal. So I definitely had that phase in times when I would come back during my nomadic sprints. I would like come back for winter, come back for a month, and yeah, we definitely butted heads, guys. We definitely butted heads. Times I was feeling super down, very depressed, and times where I was like, oh my gosh, like you do not understand me. Like, please give me patience. Please stop nagging me. But that experience also helped me see ways that I embodied my mom or parents as I am in a relationship with somebody else. So it's also kind of a useful tool for introspection. But let me say, this happened like 2 days ago, I want to say. In the past, when I noticed my mom kind of getting snappy or just giving me attitude, and I'm like, I literally just woke up. Like, I've quite literally not done anything except exit my room. Like, why am I being sassed on so hard right now for no reason? Not even hard, like tone of voice, whatever. She's a lovely lady, okay? If you're watching this, Mom, I love you. I'm not trying to roast you. This is just anecdotal evidence of the growth in our relationship. But I feel like in the past, or I felt it in that moment, okay? The teenage me wanted to be like, wow, like, why are you being so rude? You know, like, why do you have to be such a beep? Obviously, I wouldn't say that to her, but, you know, like, that energy. And Instead, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna like chill for, like, I'm just gonna not acknowledge this and I'm just gonna process and not really say anything. And then I thought about it sometime later and I was like, wow, okay, I don't think I've done anything wrong. Maybe she's just stressed, because I know when I get stressed, I will like get feisty and I need to like take time to ground and like work through what is actually stressing me, because being feisty to everyone doesn't really solve anything. Not everyone, literally my partner, the person I live with. And I just went up to her one night, or that night, later that night, that day. And I was like, hey, are you feeling stressed? Like, is everything okay? And she was like, actually, I am feeling really stressed. And she started telling me about all of this bylaw stuff, this like all these paperwork things that she's figuring out for her nonprofit. Like, this is her first time running a nonprofit, and she does amazing work with the seniors and Chinese community. I'm like literally so proud of her. But yeah, she just started telling me about all this and I was like, wow, I think she just needed someone to listen. So I'm just there like listening, not trying to solve anything. I'm just like, whoa, like that's really hard. Like, whoa, I can see why you've been really stressed. And after this 10-15 minutes, she was like, wow, I actually feel so much better. And it's kind of nice that I have someone that I can just like share how I feel with. This is really in a way where I'm like trying to view my mom as like a peer, as a friend, rather than like my mother. And it's a journey of learning to become an adult, is learning to interact with my parents as if they are just other adults, other peers, instead of expecting them to be perfect, savior, or a certain way. Because yeah, your parents are not going to be like the parents on the Disney show or the white parents in this TV series or whatever, I don't know. We all come from different cultures. We all have our own generational traumas that we are holding. And I feel like as I've been working on my own, I actually have like having more self or compassion for myself, but also for other people and for my mom. And it's kind of cool to see like our dynamic in the past where maybe we would get mad or we'd fight, to a point where I'm like, okay, now I'm focusing on understanding more about what she's going through and how she's feeling. And I also see that mirrored back to me over time. Like now my mom, sometimes she comes in if I'm just like staring out into the abyss or like not looking so great, and she'll be like, hey, are you okay? Do you need a hug? Things that just were never a part of my childhood experience, but are becoming my current experience, because it's like behaviors that I've started modeling towards her and she now models back to me. It's kind of like raising kids, but can be applied to other people as well. I definitely like hug her a lot more. I definitely am like very physical affection with my friends and my partner. So I start doing that more as well, because it's not that normal in a lot of families. And yeah, just like randomly hug my grandma or my mom whenever I feel the urge to, or, you know, just like trying to create the relationship that I want with them. So that's what I mean by I feel like it's been really healing. Lastly, I think it also feels kind of like anti-capitalist, anti-colonialist to me to live at home. Obviously, like not all of us can. We have to go to work, or we just have different relationship with our parents and stuff. But I feel like growing up, I was always told to, you know, get your own house, buy your own home. And I'm not kidding. I like really grinded, really saved to be like, okay, I have this chunk of money that I could potentially, you know, get a mortgage and buy a home or buy an apartment and do the thing that feels like it should be done, like buy a home. I actually looked into it, and then I ended up realizing this is not for me. Like, this is not the dream or the American dream or whatever dream. This is basically not the Leah dream. I don't want this. And I've had sublets where I lived on my own for a bit in Toronto as well, and that was nice. But again, with my grandma aging and me, I feel like adding extra energy into the house. I want to be here to like liven up her day. And I think she also livens up my day, you know? So that's what I mean by it doesn't feel like an obligatory act, like, oh, I'm doing this for you, for my family, and I'm sacrificing, and like, oh, it's terrible. Like, it's not terrible. It's really nice. And I'm so grateful that I get to have a mom who also will make fresh soy milk in the morning here and there and cook meals. Sometimes my stepdad will cook a meal. I'm trying to get better at cooking at home because it's like not primed in my habits to do that since I've just ate what they made ever since I was a kid. But another part of, you know, developing to be an adult. And I think, yeah, the journey is journeying. I know I'm not going to live at home forever, but right now it feels really great. And I also do visit my boyfriend pretty often in New York, and I'll probably get a visa so I can be there for like more of the year. But I don't know, I love being here, and I love splitting my time between visiting him in New York, being at home with my mom, my grandma, my cousin, his parents. And then also, I really want to start spending more time in China as well with my dad. He's lived in China ever since I was born. Yeah, I mean, that'll be a whole other video, dog. At the end of the day, I think it's important to do what feels aligned, what feels good for you. If you are lucky enough to have parents that, you know, you can see yourself cohabiting with and improving and working on your relationship with, and you feel the desire to, I think living at home can be a great option. I feel like so many of us came from communities pre-colonialism that intergenerational living is so normal. I don't know, when I watch Coco and I see like everybody living together, it just like warms my heart. And I love that. I love that for me. I love that for you. Maybe if you want it too. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I hope you have a splendid day or a splendid night. I'm going to get ready for bed. Ta-ta!